Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith. Unscripted conversations with experts. AgingBetterNetwork.com. Seattle School of Chen. Established in 2006, dedicated to promoting Chen family-style Tai Chi Quan in the Pacific Northwest. SeattleChenTaichi.com. The Jalot Home Team, Keller Williams, Mid-Willamette Realty, serving Lynn, Benton, Marion, Lane, and Polk counties. Visit TeamJalot.com. Avalos Car Media Group. Ollie and her team are helping entrepreneurs and businesses break through barriers, expand their reach, and thrive on a global scale. ACMGdigital.com. And now let's get on with the show.
Hey, look at that. We're getting on with the show. I love it. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Yes, we have a lot of fun, and I'm just laughing at myself, and that's a good thing. You know, sometimes, Scott, we just have to chuckle at ourselves. It makes life so much easier.
Yeah, you know, if we can be our own entertainment, what fun.
That's right. You don't have to depend on anybody else. Although I must say that on the flip side of that, it's wonderful to have people like our amazing guest, Branwyn, today that we can depend on. And like you, Scott, that I can depend on to always be there. Friends, that family that are just a blessing. And so, yes, it's good to laugh at ourselves, but yes, it's also good to have people.
Well, having Branwyn on is going to be great. We always have, as we say, the most remarkable people on the planet here on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. But here it is at 9 a.m. in the Central Time Zone where I'm at. And one of our sponsors is Aspects of Aging on AgingBetterNetwork.com. People will think, remember, it used to be just shortly after this show on Wednesdays. It has moved to Monday at noon Central Time, so 10 there on the Pacific Coast. And still AgingBetterNetwork.com. I encourage people to go. There's some great topics that Christine has coming up. And if you go to AgingBetterNetwork.com, you can go to the live stream and look at the past shows. Tons of amazing topics on there about aging, which we're all doing.
We are all doing, for sure. You know, I want to say, since you brought that up here, I want to tell all of our amazing sponsors that, in fact, it would help for me to take that banner off real quick so we can actually see that. There we go. You know, ACMG is one of our new sponsors, and Alejandra is amazing. She's been our guest. We really highly recommend you get in touch with her. Amazing things going on there. The Jalot Home Team that's been so faithful and such a blessing to us for so many years. My good friend and big brother, Daryl Willis, and Seattle School of Chen is one of our sponsors. Just amazing people, along with Christine and Aging Better Network. And so I am just so thankful. Wanted to just throw that up there real quickly and thank all of them for being part of all that we do. And
if other people have businesses that would like to get on as a sponsor, contact myself or Russ. And it's not just The Experience Live on Wednesdays. There's the Experience Local on Mondays, which is on radio as well. And then there's Marketing with Russ, which is 2 times a week. And then the Russ Reels panel discussion, just some remarkable stuff. You've got a great discussion coming up about abundance and scarcity, and that is tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So people want to tune in for that as well.
Well, let me tell you too, that when you want to support things that are pushing out a positive message, that are really bringing people together. We're all about that on our live streams, and it is probably the world's highest value advertising you could ever do, because we're the cheapest out there. But I'm just telling you that it helps us, Scott and I, to continue to do what we do.
Mhm.
People don't realize there is really a high cost to continue to do this and all that it takes together. And we just want to give a huge thank to our support team, Ever, who is amazing. And Scott and I couldn't do this without her. So thank you, everybody, for, just thinking about that. It's worth a conversation. Give us a call, talk to us. We can give you the opportunities, but mostly we're so thankful to be here with you. And, we're thankful for our amazing guests. Just want to remind everybody, if I get the banner back up that I couldn't get off, and that is that the best place to find out about Scott and I is local.theexperience.video. That has all of our show information on it, for not just this show, but also local. Scott will be, if he hasn't already, be putting information about the Waco experience that he's doing. And and also information about Scott and I. That is a great place to go. But if you want to go straight to our YouTube page and just subscribe, which you can do on the other one, you can just go straight to the experience.video and you can subscribe today. So we appreciate that. And I'm just excited to introduce Branwyn and get this going. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's bring Bronwyn in and learn about what's going on in her world.
Well, before I bring her in, I'm going to say this. I just met her in 3D, as Scott would say, or Christine, in the same room in New York, where we were both speakers at Perspectives on Cancer. I had known Bronwyn for a little while, but I really got to know her much better in person. An amazing individual, a wonderful friend. And in the short time since New York, she has been right there supporting me and all that I'm going through. So I just appreciate her. Here she comes, Branwyn Lee. Woohoo!
Hello,
Hello,
Bronwyn. Good morning.
hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. No, good morning. I'm happy that it's not 7 o'clock here.
Yeah, I'm an early morning guy, so it doesn't really phase me. And actually, during my whole cancer journey, I have still done fairly well in the morning. It's just by the lunchtime, I hit lunch and then it's all over, and then I just go to bed. So,
Yeah. Hey, then your
but
body says it's enough. And then you got to just listen to your body.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, let's just start from the beginning. Who is Branwyn? Tell us a little bit about yourself and all that you're about. Besides the fact that we already know you're an amazing person because I told everybody. So go
I
ahead.
heard. Thank you. Thank you. So who I am a wife. I am a mother of three. I am a lunch packing, snack making, book reading, beach loving person who also happens to be a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor. I never thought it would be me. But here I am now, being as big of an advocate as I possibly can for everyone. Um, but yeah, I was always high energy, on the go. I was in a very stressful, fast moving sales job that pretty much consumed me. And after I stopped working, I realized how much it consumed me. I never really noticed it. My family noticed it, my friends noticed it, but it was just like, I got to keep going, I got to keep going. And for me, I've always been like that. So it wasn't, anything out of the ordinary. But once I started really looking at myself and thinking, like, what the heck's going on? Then all of a sudden, I know the day before my 40th birthday, I just happened to move my arm and I felt a lump. And in that instant, I can't even explain it, but I knew it was cancer. I knew, I felt it in my core. I, I just knew it. And from that moment on, nothing else mattered except me. And I didn't feel like selfish. I didn't feel anything. I just knew I needed to figure out what was going on and go on from there. And work completely took a back seat. Everything about work was not even one of my first 10 thoughts. So I think it put a lot of things into perspective right there. So I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to navigate life with this kind of a black cloud over my head of worry that sometimes explodes with rain that I can't help. but I'm learning and meeting people like Russ and Tim and everyone. I mean, if there could be a silver lining for cancer, I'm telling you, this is it. I never met such a wonderful community that I never would have met if I didn't have cancer. So I guess for that I'm thankful, because these are lifelong friends that I've made, and it's just incredible. So I'm thankful for you guys.
Catherine, often we wait until the end to kind of talk about what are some of the practical things that people can do when they're dealing with this type of situation. In your case, breast cancer, um, but you gave a talk, and maybe you can just give some practical tips for people that are facing this, but also for their families and friends,
Yeah.
because that's it's just hard to know what to say, what to do. What do you recommend on a practical level?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So for me, I kept to myself. I let my close ring of people that were all around me, I let them know what was going on. And then some extended friends, I just didn't. I wanted to keep things contained. But for me, I appreciated when my friends called me and didn't just ask me about cancer, didn't just want to talk about my breast cancer. They would be like, oh, hey, Avery did this in Girl Scouts. And it made me feel like they were looking at me more normal. I mean, normal per se, that I wasn't sick. And I really appreciated that. I appreciated that I wasn't only getting texts like, is treatment today? Are you going to be sick? It was trying to keep it as normal as you possibly can. Of course they're going to ask how you're doing, but I also found myself, when they would talk more about themselves or what was going on with them, I felt more inclined then to say, yeah, hey, yeah, treatment, I've been getting sick. And then it just kind of then became a conversation, and then we moved on. So I think not focusing just on the sickness, focusing on the person and taking different pieces up, because I'm still me. I'm just a different version of me. And
Right.
while I was in active treatment, I was a different version. But I think just looking at that person as they're still them, I think that's really important. And then for everyone else around them, I'm so thankful that my mom was able to fly in from New York and spend a couple weeks here when I had my surgery, my bilateral mastectomy, and then with chemo. I had really good friends, and my husband. I think for me, what was most important for me was when I reached out to all my husband's friends and I asked them to please check on him, because I knew he was telling me he was fine. He was telling me. So his friends really stepped up as well, and, just kind of made it. And I'm like, don't make it like Bramlin said to, check on you. Just make it like, hey, bud, is everything good? Can I do anything to help? Or so I think just kind of trying to keep it as normal as possible, but also allowing them to feel like they have an outlet that they can talk to you if they need to get something off their chest.
Yeah, I could not agree with that more. All the things that you're saying, because obviously I have experienced and am experiencing that. And I think really, you know, I I talked about perspective and pre-deciding and where I was going to be, and I think that I've been really pretty solid overall in myself.
Yeah.
I worry more about my beautiful wife and my family who struggle at times with what's going on. There's such an unknown. Like right now, I'm in this time where I don't really worry, but I know that my wife does and my family does. That I'm in this unknown where this cloud is floating over me and I'm doing treatment, but we have no idea if the treatment's working because we're waiting to get to a month from now when I go in and I have a PET scan and an MRI to see, hey, how are things looking?
Hmm.
And so it's that unknown, I think, that sometimes is so difficult. But in all of that, as much as I love and appreciate all of the well wishers and definitely want the prayers, by the way, always want
Yeah. Yeah.
prayers. But a lot of times too, it helps me just to have nice discussions. That's what I love about this. You can just have nice discussions with people and not always have to be, I mean, today, this is kind of our topic, but you're not always having to be talking about
Yeah.
your cancer,
Yep.
because that gets kind of, I mean, if I'm going to worry, it's going to be while I'm talking about the cancer,
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
so I'm good at compartmentalizing it away, but when it gets thrust right back in front of you, it's kind of like, oh, there it is. That's right. I
Yeah.
do have cancer.
Yeah.
So well, this is what I love about you though. I love how you talked about the community, but what an amazing part of that community you are, but just how real you are with people. And Erica, who was there and also spoke at Perspectives on Cancer and had breast cancer as well, talked about that. It's a real personal thing for women. And yet, I mean, it's really interesting because guys, a lot of times, I don't have this, but guys, a lot of times have prostate, women have breast cancer, same areas that are really personal to them. But you really talked about just really the support of people that had gone through what you had gone through and how you want to be that for other people. And so talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think, it's one of the things that you always hear, no one fights alone. And it's kind of, you think, oh, it's cliche, whatever. I never truly understood that until I was feeling much better and feeling like I wanted to make sure that no one fought alone. You kind of, and when everything starts happening, they tell you to join these support groups or, go on this Facebook group or, so I did the things, and they were awful. They were just not a place that I wanted to be. A lot of negativity, and so I was like, this isn't for me. I ended up being just in one group. It's for aesthetically flat women that chose not to have any reconstruction, and it's a really wonderful group. So I stayed there, but listening to a lot of their stories and how their journey is playing out or how it even started is nothing like mine. And I was so blessed. I must have had someone right around me just guiding me through, because I got every appointment I needed. I got every scan and everything I needed, I got. And I'm talking to these women, and it is so not like that. This woman is in the middle of treatment and battling with the insurance company to still get her treatment. And this person, her husband divorced her. And so for me, it's like I want to be that solid person for them and let them know that, I still can feel, and I will cry with you, because as Russ knows, I do cry a lot, but I will be that person for you. And I just want I want everyone to know that there is someone there that they can rely on, that they can talk to, because it's also pretty hard when you want to talk to someone, but none of your friends understand, and you don't want them to
Right.
understand, but it's kind of hard. And so sometimes it's really nice to be able to talk to someone who actually understands why you're so mad, or why you just want to sit there and cry, or so for me, I'm like, I just can't have anyone knowing that a lot of these women that I've been talking to and meeting have gone through these journeys alone. It breaks my heart, because I feel even more blessed that I was surrounded by the people I was surrounded by, and knowing
Right.
that these people have no one.
Mm.
It's not okay to me, so I'll
Hey,
be that
Scott,
person.
Go
if you
ahead. Go
if you
ahead,
don't
Keith.
mind, I jump in because
Please.
I just want to say a couple things. First of all, yes, I have found that whether it was going through Alzheimer's, dementia, and cancer with my parents, or my own cancer, a lot of the support groups are just horrible, really. I
Horrible.
mean, they're just so negative, and I don't even go there. My beautiful wife looks at these, and it's just like, yeah. Anyway, I found positive community like Perspectives on
Yep.
Cancer, right?
Yep.
Like Kicking Cancer, like things that I'm doing, and
Yep.
people that are super supportive. But, this is the thing that I would say to everybody in your life, whether you're going through cancer or not. What you just said about being there, being supportive, because some people are having a rough time. I tell you, I am with you 100%. I'm also very blessed. I mean, from the time I was a child, I had a great childhood. When I got cancer, I got everything that I needed quickly. I've had good insurance that's helped take care of things. It's
Yep.
still costly. I'm not
Of
gonna say
course.
it's not, but I mean, I had things there. But don't wait, everybody, to be there for somebody or support them, because a good friend of mine who is a co-author on one of my anthologies, she messaged me about a month ago, maybe not even that long ago, and they had found cancer, just a big tumor outside her pancreas, and she asked for prayer, and we talked a message on back and forth. She was in South Africa, message on LinkedIn, and I thought to myself, I should have called her, because less than 2 weeks later, I got word that she had passed away. She just found out she had
Ah,
it, and less than 2 weeks later, she was gone. So that's my point to everybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life.
Mhm.
you may not be here tomorrow and next week and the week after that. We don't know.
Yeah.
Don't wait to support and love people and be there for them, right?
Yeah.
Every time, like Bronwyn, like Rochelle, Erica, Shannon, Tim, all the people from Perspectives on Cancer, all of them just grabbed me and said, if you need anything, I'm here for you. It's that kind of commitment to being there for people that I think really helps you, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this on our show on Monday on the Experience Local, where there was a guest. I heard him say, he came on and he just said, this may be the last opportunity I have to say this.
Yeah.
And he just, to say thank you. And it wasn't because he's in a condition. It's just, he knows he's living out the fact that that things change quickly or can change quickly. And we also often talk about isolation being the killer, whether you're in a business, whether you're going through some sort of trauma, or whatever those things are happening in your life. Isolation is the killer. Branwyn, you were talking beforehand that you were very busy in business. You had an active family. You had all those things that were going on. Let's talk about what your connection was to people during that time, that you wish you had been different, or you're grateful that you had set up some things that translated post diagnosis.
Sure. So for me, just being as busy as I was and on the go and everything, I did miss out on a lot of things that I didn't realize I was missing out on with the kids and just even with myself and just how consumed with work I was. So for me, once I realized that just wasn't important for me, that stress, that level of just, I didn't care how much money I could make. It just didn't matter to me anymore. So for me, I did take the time to isolate myself for a little bit and feel sorry for myself and, wonder why and all that stuff. But then I picked myself up and I started thinking, Russ, like you said, you wish you would have called because it was 2 weeks later. I had my preventative visit in August of 21, mid-August, and I felt a lump not even 3 months later, and I was already at stage 3. So if I didn't feel that lump, for whatever reason, the way I moved my arm, if I didn't move my arm that way that morning, I most likely wouldn't be here because it was super aggressive. So once I knew it was aggressive and everything, I did start doing things, for my kids. I started writing letters to them, and not because I wasn't being positive or fighting with everything I had. It was because what if something just happens and I didn't get to say, you know, I'm how proud I am of them, or just something along those lines. I made little videos, and I told my husband, like, this flash drive is for Amelia, this one's for, Quentin, this one's for Marcus. And he's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Why are you doing that? And I'm like, because we don't know. And I'm not doing it because I'm thinking something terrible is going to happen. I'm doing it because I don't know. And things can change extremely quickly. So I just kind of set myself up. I made sure that I talked to all my friends. I made sure that I had a card written for each one of my friends that I still have sealed, and it would be ready to go if it needed to. Phil knows where it is. But just so those people would know, just what they meant to me and how they helped me, just because I don't want them to ever feel like how Russ had, like how you just said, like, "Oh, I wish I would have called," or I wish I would have sent one more message, or I wanted them to know that they've helped, and you know it's okay. I'll be there. They've done everything for me, and I'm truly blessed by them.
Yeah. I have had more of an urgency. I agree with you. I mean, really, my business, because it's hard for me to do, but it's taken a back seat to everything else more than ever, because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in December when I go in and they tell me and where I'll be. I don't know. But I'm going to live and I'm going to tell everybody. I am one of those kind of people that I am on constantly telling people how much I appreciate them and what a blessing they are, just because I want people to know. I want people to know that, like you said.
We all get
And
those text messages and WhatsApp messages from Russ, right?
Yeah.
From when I know that he probably sends those to you as
Yeah.
well. I get those so regularly, Russ. It's just such a blessing that you are.
Yep,
well, and
absolutely.
it's true. I mean, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And when people have just really gone out of their way to be there for me, it just means a lot. And I back to my friend Michelle, who passed away so quick, I haven't cried a whole lot. When I first found out I had cancer and then it was upgraded to 3A and my family broke down and cried, I cried a little bit with them. Um, but for the most part, God has kept me pretty strong about me. I'm very secure about where I'll be, after I leave this earth and this body. So I'm pretty secure about I'm very secure about all that. But for some reason, Michelle just, man, I was in the car and I got that news. I was driving to a meeting. I completely broke down with my daughter on the phone and just bawled and bawled. I just could not even hardly talk. And it just was really more evident to me how important every moment of life is, right? And that's what that's what really I've taken out of this. I mean, I think we grow more and learn more out of our greatest adversities, out of our greatest challenges. And I have grown so much more in that area, realizing the importance. That doesn't mean I'm always great at it, but I'm certainly trying a lot harder. So, Bronwyn, let me go back to you and just say, so what would be your number one message to everybody um, about this? Because I know, like you said, diagnosis is so important. I jumped from the cancer being gone in 3 months, about a year later, after I'd had a PET scan. 3 months later, I had one, and it was already back in my groin, my lungs, and my brain, from nothing to all of that in 3 months. So I understand what you're saying. But also, we've talked about advocacy too. And like you said, you weren't apologetic for focusing on what you needed. So anyway, go ahead. What would be your message to everybody on that?
My message is to everyone. I guess it's, well, for me, early detection is the key. So I remind everyone, I don't care, I'm going to keep doing it. I know people are like, Branwyn, again, yes, there's a first of every month, and I'm going to remind you to feel them on the first. So I think you have to know your body. You have to go for those preventative visits. You have to, there's a reason they're covered at 100% with insurance. So let's make use of those. I know I did the genetic testing. I had no red flags. So if you feel like, and I didn't have the BRCA gene, my family doesn't. So that was, but people can do their genetic testing. I think the big thing is they just have to be in tune with their body. And if they do feel something, that they follow up on it, and they don't let the doctors snowball them. They don't let a provider tell them it's nothing. Well, okay, it's nothing, then I want it to be proven that it's nothing. I want to have that MRI, I want to have that biopsy. So for me, I work in insurance, so I do know a lot of things to ask and the questions to have. I've helped a bunch of women appeal their claims and this and that. But I think the biggest thing is the intimidation that people get from the doctors when they go in and they're told it's nothing. And I tell them they can't tell you it's nothing, because you're there for a reason, and they have to advocate for themselves. And it's different because you're not taught that. You're taught to go to the doctor, you're taught to listen to your doctor, and you're taught to, go on your merry way and this and that. But once you start giving a little pushback, they get a little bit surprised. But then I also think then you need to find a new doctor. I think you need to find the team that supports you and listens to you. And, I had a scare a couple months ago where I felt a lump, and I immediately hopped on and I messaged my surgeon, I messaged my oncologist, and I was in the next day. She had me come in, and I didn't have an appointment. I had to wait. I didn't care. So she immediately took me in. And I think that people need to realize that just because they have been with one doctor for a very long time, or one OB for a very long time, it doesn't mean you can't find someone new. And there is a whole bunch of people that can help point you in the direction of where to go and how to find the right provider, how to talk to a provider, how not to be snowballed. Because a lot of these women I talk to, it's like they don't even have a voice. And if they can't have a voice, I'm gonna have a voice, because I am I am a loudmouth New Yorker, so I will have that voice for them.
Well,
So
in Russ's story illustrates too that what you know about cancer treatment is probably wrong,
mhm,
because the medicine and the science has been advancing so fast. Russ, you had a person that had a very similar melanoma. Treatment was very different from that person
mhm,
to you,
mhm.
and
Yeah.
in a very relatively short time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you know Terry Tucker, Bronwyn, but he had melanoma on his foot, just like me. lost his foot, lost his leg below his knee. He's going through experimental treatment to this day, but it was 11 years before me. But just to show how much is advanced, yes, but that all those things can still happen, because clearly my most recent diagnosis with all the modern medicine, it's still moved. And so when you get something aggressive, like the melanoma I have is very aggressive, and it really, you find out a lot, and you need to learn about things, everybody, when you're going through things, whether it's cancer or something else. But I found out that it's very strange that melanoma is pretty, usually good, often goes to your brain. And I thought that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard of. But it does, especially when it started on the bottom of my foot. So it's just very strange things. But I just want to say too what you said, and that is, get with people who support you and do things. My oncology team at OHSU, when I call them with an emergency type situation or an urgent situation, I'm in the next day. I have treatment the next week.
Yep.
I mean, they don't sit there and say it's going to be 3 to 5 weeks to get it approved through insurance and do this and that. They're like, we're just pushing ahead. They're just doing it, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I love that about them, because I've got a lot of stories about OHSU, but they are take care of the person first, worry
Yep.
about the money later. And that's really what you need, because if you go to people that are constantly worried about the insurance and if you're going to pay or not, they're more worried about other things than you.
Yep.
And that's not the people you want to hang out with. And also live the holistic lifestyle and learn about some natural things you can do,
Yep.
because whether you're having conventional treatment like Branwyn had and I've been having, I still eat well. I still take supplements that help
Yep.
me. You got to think about that stuff.
Mhm.
What is good for you. So, all right. Well, Scott, are you going to be the responsible host?
Yeah, let's wind this up. Branwyn, thank you for being our guest, for sharing. We're
Absolutely.
talking about finding those people who are positive, and you've done that. So if people want to contact you, maybe bring you in as a speaker,
Sure.
and just share some final thoughts with everybody.
I think just letting everyone know that as hard as it is, that they aren't alone. And I know it's just so cliche, and it's just, you are not alone, and you want to find people that can understand you, and there are those people out there, and they will be there to help you, and you will get a community surrounding you. So even if everything feels so hopeless and you feel like nothing is going your way and the treatment's not working, you still have to have hope. Once you have hope, you can't miss out on anything. You have to have that hope. Hope is everything. And you got to just keep going and going through. You can't be consumed by what ifs, because once you do, it's very hard to get out of that mentality. So you have to just keep as positive, and know your body, make sure you have the team around you that supports you, the friends that support you, and just really ask for what you need. If you need a hug, then you ask for it. If you need just to sit there with someone and just be silent, just do that. But ask, because no one knows what you need better than you.
Yeah, that's so true. And how do people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you more?
Sure, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I see Russ just put my handle over there. You can email me, which my contact information is on my profile. Yeah, I would absolutely, if anyone wants to talk or anything, I'm more than happy to be here for them, for a loved one. I know my husband has talked to a couple people too. So if anyone needs, a different perspective from a caregiver, we can absolutely help there too.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yes, all of our family needs everybody's support as much as we do. I
Yep.
honestly think this is harder on my wife and family than it is on me. So and people find that hard to believe. They're like, you have stage 4 cancer.
Mhm.
I said, yes, but my personality does not worry as much as all the people around me that love me, and so I worry about them more than anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's me
I,
too.
yeah, I'm just so thankful for you, Branwyn, and for being here today. And we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely.
And thanks for all of your supportive texts and all that. And I'll be in touch. But hang tight. I'm going to say goodbye, but put you in the green room, and we'll be right
Thank
there.
you,
Okay.
Branwyn.
Okay, thank you guys.
Wow. I tell you, you know
Those
what,
stories.
Scott? This
Yeah.
whole community around when you rally again around something that you're passionate about. It's amazing how people love and support you, especially when you're going through what you're rallying around. But even if you're
Yeah.
not, there's so many people that are supportive and supporting family members and friends or whatever. Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
blessing.
we often talk again. Isolation is a killer, and you've been fortunate to be able to connect up with Tim Sohn and the folks at Perspectives on Cancer and other groups. Plus, you bring your own positive personality in, and you were not isolated before you had this diagnosis. And this is what I recommend to people right now. If you're not going through a cancer journey or trauma in your life, that's a blessing. But today, find that person, a couple of people that you can meet with regularly, like weekly, just to stay in contact with each other, because somebody's going to have that trauma in their life and you're going to be there for each other. Build that group today. We call it a mastermind, call it a coffee group, whatever it is, but don't isolate yourself. Find those people that you are going to meet with on a regular basis who know you and love you and will not let you fail.
So I could not agree more with that, Scott. And obviously, most of the wisdom in my life, other than God, comes from you and my beautiful wife. But I tell you that I have lived a life of building community. And because of that, I have been blessed by community when I needed community.
Right.
So, like Scott said, don't wait till there's challenges and problems. And you know what? It happens throughout all of life, everybody. And let me just tell you, I learned this from my amazing parents. I had an amazing childhood and amazing parents. I was blessed, but they were involved in every step of the way. And I learned that in the schools, for example, with my kids. Just a note to everybody, when you get involved and you get to know people and you show them you care and you support them when nothing is wrong, when something is wrong, they perk up immediately and come to your defense or come and help you. And anytime my kids had any problems in school, and this is a whole nother issue, but it's about building community. They were there to meet that need and to solve that problem, because I wasn't the complaining parent that only showed up when there was a problem.
Right.
Don't be the person that only shows up when there's a problem, whatever it is in life. Don't be the one that shows up and says, I'm sick and I have all these problems and woe is me, when you've never supported other people that had the same issue. Do it now, like Scott said. Scott, I'm with you 100%. That is a blessing.
Well, it's great to hang out with you. And Russ, thank you for all you do. And thank you to Ever for being behind the scenes, creating all the great graphics, and to Connor Hedge for being the music man, the Grammy and Dove nominated musician.
Who will be in Portland this week, by the way, with his band. They'll be performing at a club in Portland. They're up in Seattle performing tonight. They'll be in Portland on Friday, which we'll all go see them with our family and friends. And then they're going to be in Vancouver, BC right after that. So what a blessing for him.
So if you can't go, follow the hashtag Russ Selfie to make sure, because Russ is going to be posting those all over the place.
There you go. Follow that and you'll see them. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. Thanks everybody for being here. Remember, we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time now for your viewing and listening pleasure. And it also converts to audio podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever your favorite platform is. Please connect with Scott and I, russhedge.com for me, D. Scott Smith for him. And most of all, if you want more information about everything, you can go to local.theexperience.video and find out, even subscribe to our YouTube page. We would love that. And until next time, have an amazing, amazing week and enjoy.
Say, I love you to someone close and enjoy the experience.
There you go. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.